except I forgot to take the banner off. There we go. We're live now. How you folks? Hope y'all are doing well. Happy y'all are here. Excuse me a second while I get everything set up. Yeah, so excited to be here. Happy to be here. Welcome back. It's been a couple days since you've seen my lovely face. I'm sure y'all missed me very much. But we're here now, ready to rumble. Very, very exciting stuff. We've got a second stream planned. We've got a new setup. The dual monitors are back. The background's back into regular, good old-fashioned. We're back into our regular streaming setup, which is lovely. So we're going to have a really fun time today. I think getting lots of stuff done. So going to go ahead and open up a new window, and then going to go ahead and share my big screen. Oh, apparently it's... I want to look at my spring rolls. I was Googling spring roll recipes yesterday. So that's what's showing up right now. I'm going to go ahead and log into GitHub real quick, get settled into the stream, and we'll get started real soon. How y'all doing? Let's take off the getting started banner. We're going to pop on the Q&A banner. So y'all can ask any questions throughout the stream. If you've got questions, anything, go ahead and get started in just a minute. Like I mentioned, I'm back onto my good old big boy streaming setup, which is lovely. It's a big screen right here. There we go. It's a little better. You can see more stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up this repository and then get it cloned, and then we'll get settled. Hello. Ooh, welcome from Colombia. Very cool. I'm back at school, which is nice. It's good to be back. Feels good to be back. Share my screen. Got this big window up there. Screen one. Aha. There we go. Got the whole thing showing. Love it. All right, sweet. Ooh, repairing. Finally fixed my AirPod. I love when AirPods magically fix. There's nothing quite like it. I just got a new case for mine. I've had a broken case for like a month and a half. And so now I finally just got a new case, which is always very exciting. And it's lovely for it to be working and all that. So yeah, welcome to today's stream. Welcome to Cheerify. So I guess we can hide this little thing that says we're sharing. I do have a thing we're sharing. The USB-C one. Yeah. It's they somehow work and then they don't and then they work again. It's lovely. We're going to take a swig of water. Hydrate from Kenya. Very cool. Y'all are here. Excited that y'all are here. But yeah. So for today's stream, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be continuing on to Cheerify over here. And so Cheerify, as you can see, has got 6 commits from 3 days ago from the first stream. And so Cheerify is an affirmation app that we kind of half designed. I had an existing design in mind from an old project, but we designed and then implemented parts of it on our stream on Friday. And today we will continue with it. So I'm going to go ahead and clone it real quick. And then we're going to open up a new terminal window. And then we're going to zhuzh that over onto this screen so y'all can see it. Oh, come on. Zhuzh over, please. Come on through, terminal window. I believe in you. Oh, she's not moving, which is fine. All right, well, in that case, I'm just going to go ahead and go CD into my documents and into where I have all of my fun things stored. And then we've got, we'll do make directory MLH. Oh, never mind. We'll just do git clone and then copy over the repository name. So we've got that on. And then let me go ahead and open that up real quick. So we'll go into my Finder. And then in my Finder, we'll open up my documents folder really quickly. If I can find it, not development. Desktop downloads. I'll just go to documents up here. Go to documents. Let's get it back up. Cheerify. We'll go ahead and open it up in Xcode. If I can get the little bar to show again, that'd be great. Come on. Or we'll just open up an Xcode this way. Let's boot up Xcode and then open an existing project and open it in documents. Which will once again take me a second to find, knowing my luck. Documents. There we go. That's what we're opening. And let's drag it over up here. Might have to fix up some stuff with the screens here, which is totally fine. Yeah, we'll be looking more at navigation. We'll be doing some stuff with actually refreshing our screens. Tons of fun things planned for today's stream, which is exciting. It's in big screen mode. I don't want that. That's why it's pushing over everything that way. Let's drag this guy up. We'll resize this so we can see everything nice and snug. There we go. Yes, perfect. We dropped the GitHub link. Thank you all for sharing that. I'll go ahead and just paste that on the screen here. And let's add the screen back to the stage. Sweet. So this is Cheerify. We'll be taking a look at, probably spend like 10-ish minutes going over some of the stuff we made earlier. And then I think we're going to try and develop a bunch of the features that we're missing from the app. Hopefully get something close to fully functional by the end of the stream. I think we can really do it because we kept the scope of this app relatively small, which I'm very proud of us for doing, because I tend to suffer from the classic hacker problem, which I can totally judge hackers on because I do it myself, of like overestimating how much I can get done in a 2-hour time span. So, well, this is Cheerify. Here's what it looks like on our physical device. And then for our affirmation, as you can see here, whenever our affirmation appears for the first time, we make a call to this affirmations.dev API and then spit out an affirmation of some form. And then we've got, in addition to that, a plus sign, which for right now leads us to a kind of broken homepage, which is fun. Then we have a menu sign, which also leads us to a kind of broken homepage. We have a refresh sign, which is the only part of this that works kind of the way that we intended, which refreshes the affirmation, and the heart button, which currently does nothing. So there's that for things that we've done. Yeah, so thank you for sharing the links for that. Plan for the session is to get as much of this app done as possible. Overview, pretty much went over everything that we've done so far. So yeah, that's a little bit about the app. We've got our ad view here, which is where we're going to be entering our new affirmation. So it does look like, from what I saw, when we reload onto this page, for some reason, we're shown 2 home buttons, which is really funny. So it goes, the navigation link goes to menu view when we click on this, which makes sense. And then it cuts off this home button here, which we'll have to figure out. I guess I can close out this .navigation destination. We'll see if that breaks things. No, it looks good. Okay. So now let's try and do something similar. This is a navigation link to ad view. So in ad view, then, instead of seeing the button, I think we should just be able to comment this out and comment out the back button as well. Yes, I know the back button does not exist. I'm very aware of said fact. So there we go. I'll take the GitHub page off the screen, and then I'm going to also increase the font size a little bit, because I always get comments about, Kari, your font is really small, and that's just because I have overcorrected vision. Fun fact about me is that I can see better than perfect when I have my contacts in, which is honestly most of the time. So that means that I usually keep my font super small, but for streaming purposes, it's always nice to have larger font for y'all so you can see well. There we go. Aha. So now it has the back button that's kind of wonky, which is also not what we want, because it has the back button on top, and then the Cheerify Daily Affirmation Companion looks like that. So let's take a look into this then. So we kind of want it to look like the this page looks for now. So we'll go ahead and mostly copy this over into the add view. Except we also want the state var new affirmation. So let's actually comment this back out and then comment this, or actually does it need the back button then called like that? I don't think it does. I think it just, we can get rid of that part and then we can hopefully add in this part that says, or in the menu view that says the back button's true and the bar items are leading. There we go. Beautiful. So that goes down, what part? Goes on the back of the Z stack. So this parenthesis. All right, let's give it a shot. So now when we go to menu view, when we, oh, not this menu view, the content view, which is our home view, we try to press the plus button, we get this. I would like to have it so that Cheerify sits slightly higher. And I'm going to see if I can maybe mess around with the padding of this a little bit. Maybe do like dot bottom or dot top and like -80. See if that that does kind of what I want it to do, except I want it to actually be on the entire V stack that I want this to be pushed up. And let's see it on the menu view. And then, or not the menu view. I'm going to close on the menu view for now. We'll get the content view. So yeah, that's a little bit too high. So let's try something like 40. And see it here. There we go. That looks pretty good. We'll probably go for something closer to 50 maybe, or 45. Let's try 50 for now. And then because of the way that the view is shaped, it makes more sense to go for that. So there we go. Looks great. I can go back home, go up, go back home. It does cut off this menu button for some reason, which I don't really like. But we'll have to go. Hello. Yeah, it was probably because we like went back to back with another stream. It was another stream ended and then I got started kind of immediately. So it might have been a little bit of issues there. So yeah, so we've got kind of the setup of this screen here now where we can go back and forth between these. This looks good for the most part, except the back button cuts off in some cases. We might want to shift that down a little bit. So let's try and maybe get it some padding from the top, something closer to 30. And then we'll get some padding on the top for this, something closer to -30. Let's give that a shot. Let me try and go back now. Oh, okay. So it cuts off in the area here. So looks like whenever we go back and forth, it cuts off this button. So maybe instead of padding, there actually being any padding on the top, we might have to get rid of that entirely and go for this being like -60 instead. Let's give that a shot. Okay. Yeah. That should make the button not get cut. Oh, it does still make the button cut out. Okay. Might have to make the buttons slightly smaller. Something like 45 on all these buttons might make things slightly smaller on all ends, and then it might make everything fit pretty okay in all of the other views. So 45, 45, and then 45, 45. Then if I go to add view, try to change the size of this to 45, 45. Got rid of the padding on the top, and we'll go something like 55 down here. Then let's give it another attempt, shall we? Okay, well, that part looks good. Try and go back. Okay, looks like there's slightly, like almost insignificant clipping, which is good. It does seem to be slightly higher than these buttons though, which I don't love. Because it's technically a replacement for the back button. So what I might try doing, instead of it being a back button like Oh, no, because I want it to be a back button because I want to actually go back and forth. So now I think we'll leave it like this. The reason why I'm saying, oh, we should make it a back button is because also I should play music. Let's play music. We'll play some of the one. We'll do the rock. I'm impartial to the rock. There we go. Let me turn it down as well. Just I like having it in the background. Just in case, I get quiet for a second, you're all sitting here in silence, which makes sense. And then we have because the back button, the reason why I'm like, oh, we should keep it as a back button instead of making the back button ourselves is so that way we have this nice little animation of it moving forward, then moving back, which I really appreciate. So let's actually try and push this back down another 10-ish pixels. So that sits kind of on that same level as this one. I like that a lot more. I think that makes sense. And then I would like, really, honestly, to push this button down another 30 or so pixels. So dot padding, maybe top, or it's dot top, something like 30. It makes sense here. And then if we go for that, right, then the button sits nice and snug, kind of in that same spot as it sits on this page. The issue is that it does do this weird thing where it cuts off. It might be because it's a Z stack that gets populated on the top here. So what if instead of doing that, instead of calling it as a navigation back item back button, I just tried and called it within this horizontal stack and I called the back button here. Let's try that. Okay, so that makes it look weird. Cannot make it call. Yes, I believe that. So I would then have to mess around with some of this padding. So first off, I don't want any of this padding on the top that way. I also don't want any of your padding on the top. And then I would like to give you, because then it's got a spacer, which makes sense, but I also want it to be, let me turn up the volume a little bit. There we go. I kind of want it to be, we'll have some padding from the edge, something like 25 maybe. What's the padding of the edge on these? There is no padding because it settles nicely. No, there is a leading edge padding of 10. Got it. So it's like the H stack of the home page, then the so it's 10 on the edge. Got it. So 10 like that. But then there's no spacer in between these. Just kind of goes back button, spacer, right, cheerify. But then that doesn't really work unless we added in another button up here. We could make the save button up there. That should work. So if I made it a button, or maybe I could just make it the favorites button for like style purposes. So I'll show y'all what I mean. Right, then we get the spacer, and then you get this button on the bottom here that kind of nestles in everything kind of nicely. So that I think makes sense. And then we would enter in our text field here, which we would make a text field that would allow for us to put in some, like, a good positive affirmation and then save the affirmation, which we'll get to, I think, mess around a little bit with some data saving and stuff. So that should be really fun. But yeah, long story short, I think we'll get to put in some data here, save it, and then go from there. So first thing we want to do is we want to add in a text field. Now there's a reason why this text field got commented out. And I remember why that was. It was because when I tried to type into this text field, it would only type in one letter at a time. So let's give it a try now. This is an attempt to type into my text field. That looks good. So now currently we don't have a way to save our affirmation at all. So we'd, go back home or go back to the page, which we can't because we didn't save it. We didn't save a way to go back. Let's try and enter in an affirmation here. This is a test to put in an affirmation. I can't spell, but you know what I mean. So there you go. So that looks good on that front. So I think this makes sense for putting in our affirmation. I do kind of want to modify the text field so that we've got some slightly larger text and that it looks a little bit more like our big affirmation looks on the home page. So like in here, we've got, I know you'll sort it out, for example, but we've got favorite button, heart. What is the way that this text is modified? Yeah, large title, bold with the following foreground color. So I will definitely do that. So we'll do, we'll go in here to the multi-line text assignment. We've got font, large title. I don't think I want to go for large title. I think I want to go for like a title 2, something slightly smaller. Font weight, bold, foreground color I think makes sense. So let's try to type in my affirmation below. Okay, I think that looks good. Let's see how okay, so I don't like the way that it does the affirmation when it's on multiple lines, which it should have had. So I do know how to fix this, and so I'm just going to give it a quick Google. So multiple lines of text field Swift. I've done something very similar to this in the past. So I want to, yes, I remember this. So we want to add in the text, and then we add in the axis modifier, and we set it vertical to expand the text field going up, down, as opposed to left, right, which is really what we're going for here. And then we'll also give it some padding around the sides, the same way that we've got on the other, on the text view. So padding by default assigns padding of, I think, might be 10 or 15 pixels to the trailing and leading edges, as well as the top to bottom. We've already got spacers on those, on the top and bottom edge, so that part really doesn't matter as much here. But for this one, let's give it a shot now. This is my attempt at typing in an affirmation. Oh, wait, hold on. This is my attempt at typing in an affirmation that is more and 2 lines long. Okay, so it looks like it does, unfortunately, like limit the size of the text field, which I kind of want to make the text field a lot bigger than that. So let's increase vertical size of the text field. Swift. Let's try and do that. I wanted to be in SwiftUI, please. No storyboard tutorials in this house. Okay, so I can do, it looks like we could try something called .line limit. And I want to have, we'll do 5 reserve space to be true. And that should create enough space field that is 10 or 5 lines long. So now if we were to type in any more, it's going to make it a scrolling text field. So I think instead of a line limit being, I would like to make the line limit something around 3, because this makes sense to me. I think that way, you know, if you've got an affirmation longer than 3 characters, 3 lines, that way you can kind of begin scrolling on your own, and it doesn't look wonky with the setup of the like screen vertically as well. So I think that makes a lot of sense to me. I think we should go ahead and make a little save affirmation button now. Let's try and do that. So we'll go ahead and make a button, and then it will have a label that says, do maybe image with the system name, and then we'll do Command Shift L to open the SF symbol library. I want to look for something that looks kind of like a save icon. So we could do the plus sign. That should work. Maybe potentially something like the singular plus that kind of says like save my affirmation next to it. Let's give it an attempt, and then I want to do I think, let me try and do a text next to it that says save my affirmation. There we go. Yeah, so the label, obviously it makes sense how it looks, but so I can do maybe save affirmation instead, and then from that we can do we'll want to modify what this button looks like. I think that makes sense. First off, we want to modify its background. Then we want to have maybe a foreground color white to change the color of the text in the button. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then we could do maybe .clip shape, and then square or rectangle, rounded corners, maybe rounded rectangle, corner side, corner radius, I don't know, 5.0, 10.0. I don't think that's doing anything. So that's not necessarily great. So right now, this button does nothing. I also don't like the way that it looks, except for the fact that I would love to add in a spacer underneath it, I think. So instead of having the spacer be all the way up there, I want the spacer to be down here and have both these buttons. Yeah, there we go. So I want to add in padding all around, at least something like that. And then I want to set the corner radius or clip shape. Okay. Rounded rectangle, corner radius 5.0. 5.0. 25. I don't think that's setting the clip shape because the background's probably getting set first. There we go. Okay, cool. Oh, hello. Happy you're here. But yeah, there we go. So we can save the affirmation. Potentially, if we added in another spacer in between these two. Okay, that doesn't look as good. What if we add this spacer up here? No, that doesn't make much sense either. Because normally on a phone, right, keyboard would pop up here. So I think it actually makes more sense for the save affirmation button to be kind of where it is at the moment. Got some random stuff, got to swipe through. So yeah, in here, this is my test affirmation with the text field. It looks great. Yeah, Are you asking about the space keyword? Are you asking about the spacer here? So spacers, long story short, this entire code is written in a VStack, which stands for vertical stack, and it spreads out all of the elements vertically. So normally it would say, okay, we've got the back button, then immediately we've got, or technically we've got a horizontal stack of these things. Then we've got a text field, then we've got a button. So if you were to comment out these spacers, all of these elements would appear right on top of each other. And then they would immediately appear in the middle of the page. So spacer effectively tells the code, hey, I've got more room to work with. So by providing a spacer in between the top and the bottom here, I'm saying, hey, I want you to use as much space up top here, and then I'm going to leave as much space as possible and tons of space on the bottom. But then because we add a second spacer, that spacer is saying, hey, I want you to try and equalize the amount of space. You kind of can't see it, but I'm pointing to it. Like if we think about this as the phone, right? Well, there's my phone. But like if you think of this as the phone, I'm saying, okay, I want a spacer to maximize the amount of space between the header and my first element, and then a second spacer to maximize the amount of space between my second element and the bottom of the screen. So effectively, the amount of spacers determines, they are effectively empty views that tell you how much space is in between stuff. And it's kind of confusing, but hopefully that, yeah, glad to see that helps. Yeah, so we're working on Swift with Swift UI to build out an iOS app. You just asked a question about what language we're working on. So it's Swift with Swift UI specifically. And then we've got, enter your new affirmation, and then we've got save affirmation and a home button right there. So I think that part is good. We'll have to, I think, figure out how to actually save these so they pop up, and then figure out. So what I'm thinking through right now is we right now make a call to the API no matter what. So what I'm thinking, and we'll add in some to-do comments here. So fun fact, in most IDs and in most programming languages, whenever you add in a comment that says to-do like this, it bolds the task. So it's easier for you to see the comment. And that way it's also easier for you to see all of the to-do comments that you have in a specific block of code. So I want to say determine or show favorites as opposed to always making an API call. And then I also want to go ahead and try and do something similar down here whenever we refresh. And then in here, I want to say make current affirmation a favorite. And then when we press the little heart button down here, because right now when we press the heart button, all that happens is that we just get a little pop-up in our console that says it's a favorite button. That's not really super helpful. So within that as well, we want to, so I think that makes sense. Add view and menu view looks good. This screen looks good for what we have right now. Right, there's nothing really on this screen that we can do because we just redirect to other screens to do all of the other work. Now on the menu screen, which is kind of the most important screen we haven't touched yet. Also, I don't want to do this. Instead, I want to have back button just appear here. Similarly to the way that it is on this guy. So we'll go ahead and copy this over. So we'll grab this whole thing and copy it over to the menu view. We'll need to remember the bottom parenthesis. There we go. Except it looks, why does it look strange? I don't like that. I added in probably some other things up here to this back button. Probably change the size of it before I take an educated guess. Let's go back to menu. Yep, the size is different. So we can just change that really quickly. And there we go. That looks great. So that's the menu view. So within the menu view, we want to add in some menu functionality. So we'll want to have the ability to add in or show only favorite affirmations. Okay, so maybe like show button to show all affirmations, and then a button to show favorite affirmations. That makes sense to me. All right. So we've got, like we mentioned, we can go home to the home view right now. It says get started by pressing the refresh button, makes a call to the API, returns a specific affirmation. When we press the refresh button, it adds to the when we press the refresh button, it refreshes from the API, makes a new API call. When we press the favorites button, right now, all we just get is an output in our console that says this is a favorite. When we press add, we are taken to the add screen where we can add an affirmation. And we can press save affirmation, and that does nothing at the moment. And we can also go back to the home screen, and we can go to the menu page, what at this moment also does nothing. And then go from there. So the next step of what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out how we want to save a list of our favorite affirmations. And so I think I want to use something called core data or potentially something called user defaults. So these are two different ways in Swift and Swift UI specifically to store data. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new window on Chrome, and then I'm going to show you core data versus user defaults. User defaults are used for default values, which you don't really want. We can save some data here. I think I'd like to go with core data, which is a fun little system. So we'll go ahead and work through some core data. I think now would be a good time to take a break. So we're going to take a break for roughly 9 minutes. We'll be back at 2:50 Central. So right in about 5-ish minutes. So coming back we'll put it in Eastern time because I know more folks are over in Eastern. Or you might be not more familiar with Eastern time if you're not in the States. So coming back at 3:50 EST, post any questions in the chat. And then we'll be back in right about 8 minutes from there. So there is our back. And then I'm going to leave let myself hop off the screen, get a drink of water, take a little wander, a little gander around, and we'll be back in 8-ish minutes. All right, see y'all soon. Howdy, we're back. All right, let's go ahead and pull up on my little secondary key screen here. Do want to go ahead and look up a little bit on how to add core data to an existing project. So how to add core data to existing project Swift UI, please. So yes. So I want to create a file, new file, then in iOS, when I go to core data and add a data model, save it as affirmation. Cool, run and test the project without core data. Okay. So I want to click add entity. On the bottom here, right? Yes, I want to add an entity. Or wait, I should have just called it affirmation. That's fine. I can call it entity here. And we'll have an attribute called text, which will be of type string, and then an attribute called is favorite, which will be of type Boolean. I know that part. Cool. Update my data manager file. Like that. I know. I have a affirmation here, which is let affirmation be of type string, and then var is favorite will be of type Boolean. We'll try and do that, or bool, technically. Oh, failed. Yes, because I don't set a default for Boolean here, so I'll have to get rid of that. There you go. This is more complicated than I remember. But that's fine. We've got time. How to configure data. Okay, so then it's saying to create a new file called persistencecontroller.swift, which I can definitely do. Share persistence controller.swift. There we go. And then I've got some code for it from Hacking with Swift. We love hacking with Swift. Oh, learn to build Vision OS apps. That sounds fun. There we go. We've got that. Command C. Command V. Oh. Okay. Add a save method. This is not liking this. Add a save method to my persistence controller. I did. Or it doesn't need to be in the struct. It probably needs to be in the struct. So let's try and do that. Okay. If I can import foundation, that's fine. Okay, cannot find. Okay. And the project app name. That Swift file. Okay. I would need to let a persistence controller. And then I have to do this part. And add in the saving of the persistence controller. Okay. Maybe one might be in here. Instead of in the content view. There we go. We'll delete that. Menu view, the affirmation, text is favorite. That makes sense. So can do that. Failed to build the scheme. Oh. Okay. Cannot find type of the NS persistent container. Does it need to import core data in here? Probably does. Let's try to import core data. There you go. Sweet. So now it's saying this is a test, which I don't really care about. Then a save. Okay. Did not name my model name. I made my model affirmation. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it would have a fetch request. They would be affirmations. Okay. So let's try and do that. If we go into content view and I try to make a fetch request, that was not languages, it was called affirmations. Via fetched results of type, what was it? Entity, I think? Yeah. I don't have name. I have text. Then that's that. Okay. That's interesting. And then I have, okay, so it works. Don't want to filter. Or no, I do want to filter, but in the other view. Maybe let's make the menu view now. If I make the menu view, I think that would make sense. So I could do something like, got the add view. I like the way that this button looks. So go ahead and just grab it. Pop it in the menu view. It's got the back button in here, right? It's got the V stack, the spacer, all that. So I do want it to be in here. Save affirmation. Save affirmation, except I think I want the spacer instead. Go all the way to the bottom here. That. Maybe honestly a second spacer in between these two buttons. Yeah, something like that should work. So it should be maybe the house to see all affirmations, and then the heart to show favorite affirmations. And I think if you also press the heart and the house back on the top here, I wanted to do the same thing. So it might make sense for me to make a new view that looks a lot like this one. So if I make a new Swift UI view, that's called favorites view, right? Oh, that was weird. I want to, yes. New file, yep. Swift UI view. Yeah, no, I don't want it to be in I want it to be in Cheerify. Favorites view, please. There we go. I'm not trying to save it. And what are you on, my friend? Can I create a new file here? Sorry, y'all. To dig through for some reason. Users, yeah. Kari, yeah. Documents, yep. Cheerify. Thank you. Except I forgot to rename it. Don't want it to be called Swift UI view, so let me just delete it and then try that again. Delete. To trash, please. New file. UI view. Want it to be favorites view, please. There we go. Move it down. Go into the content view here. Do something similar. Except actually, I don't think we need this in here anymore. So just cut it out and then put it into favorites view. And then we can instead pretty much copy over the so state private var affirmation string be get started by pressing refresh button. Yeah. Then we go back into the content view. We got some body, navigation stacks, all that. We'll just give this a good old copy paste. Like that. And then I think also what we'll want to do is create a new file. It's a Swift file, and that's called affirmation. And the reason why we want a new affirmation file is so we can remove this data structure from here that is sitting in here when it shouldn't. So there we go. We'll do that. And then we have get started by pressing refresh button. Yep. And then this is how to filter data, add core data object to UI views. That's exactly what I want to do. So that will happen in, if we can get rid of this favorite, we'll do it in the favorites view. Same with this one. Instead, I want to do make current affirmation a favorite. So that will go in here. So I'll let favorite affirmation be an entity in context that is called what? Manage object context. I have the environment variable. Oh, I need to add it into the content view as well. So be environment managed object context. So that would be in the content view. Or did I start editing in the wrong view? I did, didn't I? Ah, it's fine. Okay, so in content view is where I want to make it a favorite. So we'll add an environment. And then the manage object context. That makes sense here. And then we have this insert example, right, where we would have the let favorite, we'll do fav affirmation. be of type entity, with the context being the managed object context we have declared up top. Then we have let fav affirmation dots text equal, that is going to be equal to affirmation. And then finally, we let, or it's not let, it's that. And then fav affirmation text is affirmation, and then fav affirmation dot is favorite is actually true. Here we go. And then we would do in here, we'd do persistence controller dot shared dot save. And then maybe I could do in here, if managed contact has changes, then that is when we want to save. There we go. Then we also want to, in here, I think, make the label. So, there's the hard dot filled, right? Yeah. So, maybe I could do at state var favorite equals heart. And then I want to say favorite in here equals heart. Set it to heart.fill. And then I want to change this system image name to just be favorite. And now supposedly when I press this button, if there's a change, it should save it and then print favorite button as well. It does print favorite button, but does not change the size of the heart, which I'm wondering if that is because this just doesn't work. That might be the case. So let me actually move this print for favorite button in here. And then clear out the... Okay, so it does not seem to... If I refresh, and now I do it. Okay, so it's not liking that manage object context has changes. So let me try and comment that out real quick. Now try and refresh and do that. Okay, so that works. So for now, I think I'm going to get rid of this manage object context has changes. That saves the heart, the affirmation. So there's that. Cool. So we save our favorite affirmations like that, which makes sense. I can get rid of this text, and then I can see in here, and get rid of these comments that say show favorites, because I want to have it be like, yeah. So in the favorites view, that's just the same thing. So I want to do the menu view now. Menu view, house goes back home. Favorite button does not go back home. So I actually need favorite button to link to favorites view now, which I have in menu view, or in the content view, I've got some links as well. So that's going to be a navigation link instead of a button with the same exact label. So in the menu view, we'll go back to really quickly. I want this to be, instead of a button, I want it to be a navigation view link that goes to menu view. And And then in here, I want it to be the same thing. Except I don't want it to link to many view. I actually want it to link to favorites view. So we'll do that. And then this I need to link to home view or content view. There we go, content view, like that. So now this should link to, oh, I don't have the setup, the navigation link set up from this page. So we have to go test it on content view. Now when we do this, it should just go back, right? All affirmations. Oh, favorite affirmations. Yep. Except it needs, I need to get rid of the silly little back thing. So that needs to show up in the favorites view, multi-line text assignment, ignore safe area, add view, right? It's navigation back button hidden is true. So it goes. Two from the bottom, so right there. And then two from the bottom on the content view as well. There we go. Oh, we got some comments. Sorry, I have not been paying attention. Ooh, my goodness. What was the commented out that made the favorite work? It was checking whether we have changes in the manage context. Is there a reason you added the buttons in the not content view files outside of the body, but in the main page, the buttons are in the body? Yeah, so in the main page, the buttons, they're actually both in the body. And I can go over that real quick. So in here, we've got the buttons are written all within the body, whereas in the menu view, the button is written up here and then declared here again. This is so we can take advantage of this presentation mode wrapped value dismiss, which is actually probably why I'll also swap this other button to be yeah, so it's to take advantage of this dismiss because we want it to be, we want this button to go back to the home page instead of generating a new screen right on top. That's kind of the key difference in that one. I hope that makes more sense. Part one is on YouTube and on Twitch from Friday, if you are interested in looking at that. So if I now go here, back to all affirmations, that looks good. Go to back to favorite affirmations, that looks good. Go back to heart this way, go back home this way. All of that makes sense and looks good. Ah, I think I'm in. Okay. So favorites view at the moment kind of does the same thing as home view. So this will have heart.fill instead. So I actually don't think we need this button down here anymore. But I don't know whether I like just removing it outright because I think it might mess with the actually it shouldn't that bad, right? Because it'll just, because that would be to remove things from your favorites, which we can add that in eventually. So remove from your favorites. We probably won't have time on this stream, but I might, honestly, I'm having enough fun with this app that I might just do that on my own. And then we've got refresh here. Right now that just refreshes from your list. Add is the same, menu is the same no matter what. So there's that. I want to go to favorite affirmations, please. Okay. So favorite affirmations is I think the main one we've got left right now. And that is to, we have to actually get all of these we actually have to get all of this data. So let's try, and so we want to have a sort descriptor text, and then we want to have a predicate. Or no, it will be sort descriptors. Yeah, right. And then, so I'm actually going to move these onto the same line to make it less confusing. So sort descriptors sit like that. And then this can be on a new line. And then predicates will sit here. So it'll be an NS predicate with the format. You know what? That seems too complicated right now. So we'll get rid of that real quick. We'll deal with that eventually. And then I want to create a core data fetch request using fetch request. Yep. And then we have in here, instead of on appear, I want to have the task, instead of calling the API, and then instead of calling the task API here as well, I want to generate a random element from this entity. So generate or retrieve random element from core data. SwiftUI, please. Oh, is there affirmations? Okay, and then var random affirmation, or actually, yeah, so we could do if let random affirmation be of type affirmation, and it'll be affirmations dot random element, right? If I did this, if let random affirmation is affirmation of random element, then I want to set the affirmation to be of the random affirmation dot text, or you do not currently have any favorite affirmations. We'll try something like that, right? So it'll be on appear, and then also on the refresh, I want to do the same thing. So I think we'll need to boot up the phone for this one. So let me grab the cable to plug my physical device in, and then we will I get some important emails I'll have to deal with later. Okay, so that's the physical device, but I want it to go on my phone. Yes, I closed it. That's fine. Yeah, I want to go on my phone, so we'll go ahead and load that up. And we'll go ahead and see it. Got my phone up. Y'all can't see that, but that's fine. go ahead and also go into do not disturb real quick. This help. There we go. Okay, I can heart it. That makes sense. Then if I go into my favorite affirmations, it's always don't forget to enjoy the journey, which makes sense. Okay, and then you're a smart cookie. If I go back to favorites, it's don't forget to enjoy the journey. Sweet. All right, it works. Awesome. So we've added the ability to save favorites into our affirmations, which is great. And those persist across sessions, which is awesome. So we'll get that part done. So I think that will be a good time to push all of our progress. So let me go ahead and do that. So I'll cd to my documents, then to Cheerify. Then I'll do git add all, git commit -m progress from part 2, first 80-ish minutes. And then we'll do git push. There we go. Sweet. So for those of you who might have missed a part of the stream or want to generally catch up, we've got everything that we've done so far up on the Cheerify GitHub, which I'll also go ahead and drop a link to right here as well. So go ahead and grab that really quickly. Ta-da-da-da-da-da. There it is. Oh, I've still had the banner about me being back at 350 running this entire time, haven't I? All right, well, we'll swap it with what are your questions, drop in the chat. And then also put my face up here. So there's that. We've got so this only refreshes from your favorite affirmations, which makes sense. This only refreshes from your favorite affirmations, which also makes sense. So that part looks good of the favorites view. So now let me think of all the other things that I wanted to get done that we might not have been able to get done. I'm going to bring out a pen and paper for that because I usually like writing down notes like that in a way that makes sense. So we've got, let's see here. We've got some to-dos that I already removed because we did them. So we've got, I'm going to just unpause the preview and put it back onto an iPhone 15 Pro up here. So we've got the functional menu. We've got adding to favorites done. We've got saving affirmations. Custom affirmations. Ooh, there you go. Unrelated to iOS app, but on topic, I say I did 100 days of SwiftUI. Ever finish it? I have a friend who did it and didn't really like it. I'm currently doing it myself. How'd you like it? I got through about 40 days of it. I enjoyed it, but I just kind of got to that point where it felt like we were doing random projects and I just had way too much on my plate to give it as much as I wanted to. So I think that's why I stopped it. I think if I had really kept going with it, I would have really enjoyed it. It's a really great, thorough, deep, it's not very deep, depth-wise. You're not going to become an expert on core data. You're not going to become an expert on, navigation. You're going to really become an expert on anything. But you're going to have an understanding of pretty much everything SwiftUI-wise on the rudimentary level. Which is why I honestly really like it. So adding custom affirmation screen. Yeah, adding custom affirmation screen. So I think what this will have to do then is I'll just have to, in here, also have to add to the affirmations here. So I'll say is custom is also going to be a Boolean. So I'll just say fav, and here we'll just put fav affirmation is custom will be false unless otherwise stated, because that will be attributed from this one. Yes, is custom Boolean. Don't worry, it does have an entity of is custom. Take your time. Yeah, so in here, it then, for now, the favorites view just does not yet sort. Okay, so it does not yet sort through your actual favorites. It just saves. So sort through favorites on favorites view. Then we have remove Oh, which iOS version do you recommend to target? This is, I think, honestly, the newer, the better. iOS doesn't suffer from the same issue as Android, where like you really need to support a lot of older devices. People tend to upgrade iPhones like more frequently than the OSs go out of date. So you can go with the most current or the one immediately below to err on the safe side of caution. So I would say like currently we're we've got iOS 17. I think this is on 16.4 because I just haven't updated my Xcode recently enough. And that should cover most of your, yeah, I feel you there. Like for the primitives part, like to me, it was important to go through it because I'm also a completionist like that. But I did not get as much value out of it as I got from the projects. Yeah, you're very welcome. Happy to answer your questions as well. So yeah, we want to do saving custom affirmations, adding the custom affirmation screen, and we want to sort through favorites on favorites view. We want to remove favorites. We want to delete custom affirmations potentially. Wait, I don't think we'll have time for all of these, but mostly I'm just making a list for myself now of features that would be really helpful to have. So let's add into the menu view then. A place to see your custom affirmations. So this is the favorites view. And then in here, we would have another navigation link that would link to, so we would have to create a new file, a Swift UI view that would say custom view. And then push that back down here. And this would be the custom view. This would be custom affirmations. And I think I'd write to do that with there's the pencil. Something like that, I think makes sense. And then that would link to the custom affirmation view from there. So if we go in from the content view, and then custom affirmations would just link to this, which makes perfect sense to me. And that would be pretty much the, wait. No, this is the good view. This would pretty much be the favorites view with the exception that it would have, so yeah. So let me grab this, pretty much to custom view, pop this in here. The only exception would be that it would not have you do not currently have any favorite affirmations. It would be not currently have any custom affirmations. Most likely. Probably be also like did not currently have any custom affirmations would be the text that you want to display up top instead of, yeah. So it'd be, you do not currently have any custom affirmations. And then on the favorites view, we'd want to say you do not currently have any favorite affirmations right here as well. So what that looks like. So you do not currently have any favorite affirmations. So we want to go home. There we go. Yep. So there's that. So you do not currently have any custom affirmations. So this would be a heart. Just like that. This would be to add the affirmations. That makes sense. Okay. So I think next thing I want to do is just where so in here, in the menu view, not the menu view, in the content view at the moment, we just save a favorite affirmation when the controller has it. So I could also go into favorites view. I'm going to go into add view, and in here where it says text save affirmation, I pretty much have to do what content view does. So let me close this out. Definitely need the manage object context in here. And then we have the button, which would save these. So this would be to save this affirmation. So is favorite would be false, is custom would be true. And then now if I tried to say, so this would be the, so this would, I think, set, so we would want to have a state variable, something like state favorite would be false by default. Then we would say, or sorry, I need the var keyword. Yep. Be false by default, or that actually goes, I think, down here. Yeah. And then we want to set this to be the new affirmation. And then we want to say favorite button. Instead of saying favorite button, I want it to set favorite to be true. And then I want to say, I'm going to use a tuple here. So that'll be favorite. If it's favorite, I want it to say heart. Fill. Otherwise, I want it to say heart. This is a ternary operator in our ternary expression Swift. So if I want to say I want to toggle the variable instead. Well, that's not toggling it, really. I need it to be set to favorite. Yeah. So for some reason, it's not toggling the heart.fill button, even though it's toggling it on the other one. Oh, it's just, oh, because that's because I did it differently. So I could do like, I mean, I could do state var favorite name, right, would be heart. And so then I would say name is equal to, if it's favorite already, then I want it to say heart.fill. Otherwise, I want to say heart. Then I want to put in here favorite name. That. So now it should hopefully trigger the button. Let me try that on like a full big boy run through the entire thing. So. Oh, accessing base value outside of being installed on a view. This will result in a constant binding of the initial value and will not update. Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess I can worry about the toggling of the heart later. So I'll just add in a to-do here. To-do, fix the heart toggle. We also got the clip shape in here. The most important part, though, is trying to save this. So I'll try and save it on this phone, right? So if I say, this is my new affirmation, smiley face, save the affirmation. Then I try to go home and I try to go to my custom affirmations. Nothing shows up. Cool. Interesting. Okay. That's not working the way that is really intended. So maybe if I got rid of this part here, this purple, that it's throwing some form of warning or error that I don't really understand. So we can't find the manage object context and scope anymore. So let's try and Google this error. And then we might have to head out soon, sadly. No, I just want to Google the actual error message. Accessing states value outside of being installed on a view, please. Yep. Maybe I could just get rid of this favorite heart part for now. And I'll just do it here, time being. And then let me try and run it again on the big device. Same error. So it's saying it's not defined in the view, even though it's in the exact same spot as it is here. Maybe if I move this button like slightly higher up. We'll try that. No. Does this have to do with like this part? Like if I change it to always be a filled heart, for example. No, okay, so it still has that error. So I think it might have to do with these variables then. So I could do at publish maybe? That's what Stack Overflow is suggesting. I like that suggestion. Okay, well not this one. This one. But this. So what if I moved it higher up? Moved it as a thing in the class. Okay, so what if I change it to here? I change it to stay right there. I also change it to stay right here. Now I run it again. There we go. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, so they just need to go up here. This is a test affirmation. Save affirmation. Go back home. Try to look at custom affirmations. Nothing shows up. That's unfortunate. Okay. I try and, oh. No, so that does work. Except it's saving a bunch of blank screens too. So interesting. Okay. Still really proud of the progress here, not gonna lie. Yeah, let's go ahead and push this up. Git add all commit dash m saving new affirmations and then git push. Okay. Cool. Seems good to me. All right, let's see. Affirmation class, the affirmation string. We'll set it to var is favorite, which will be a Boolean with a default value of false, and a var is custom, which will be a Boolean with a default value of false as well. Try that, see if that breaks stuff. Favorites view makes sense. This is just the you do not currently have any favorite affirmations, which makes sense. Then we've got the add view, which same thing. Enter your new affirmation. I do looks like I want to maybe add in some form of pop-up when the affirmation's saved. Add a pop-up when affirmation is saved. So we'll add that in as a to-do as well. So this would be to-do add pop up when affirmation is saved. Yeah, but overall, I'm really proud of all that we managed to get done on this one. Because think about it. We made a fully functional app. We connected to an API. Oh, great. Sad. It's still failing. So affirmation is a string. Yeah. Decoded response dot affirmation. Ah. Can I do it as dot text? Maybe? Okay, let me try and print the decoded response here. Because I would like to modify the data structure to something that makes sense. I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Yeah, it crashed. I know, I did that on purpose. So it's not decoding. Okay, so I got it. Okay. So if I try and do in here instead of content view, I try to recode affirmation dot. Okay, now it is dot self. Okay. That's sad. So I guess I have to keep this commented out for now in order to get it to work. So we'll have to deal with that eventually. Yeah, so those of you do not currently have any favorite affirmations, which makes sense. So I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for me too. Thanks. So that's fun. All right. And then let's see here. Yeah, I think this looks good for now. We'll definitely revisit it. I'll tell you what. I'm running a series of Android streams, building out a very like another Cheerify, except a native Android. So we'll be building our first Android app, which should be really fun. And the next one for that starts in an hour. But with whatever extra time we've got from that, I think we'll revisit both of these and polish them up and have a great time. So let's do once again CD documents and Cheerify, then git at all, git commit -m. We'll call this end of part 2. And then we'll do git push. But yeah, if any of y'all have any like questions, comments, concerns, you want to, help me out with the app or anything along those lines, I think that'd be really fun. If you end up, having a great idea for it and you want to just send a contribution, please do. It'd be lovely to have y'all. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and stick on for another 10-ish minutes, or slightly less than 10-ish minutes, probably like 5-ish minutes. And then we will go ahead and see each other in less than an hour. But yeah, thank you very much for joining. It was lovely to see y'all. Ooh, we got a fun question. My first time building in Swift. Have you ever submitted one of your iOS apps to testify for the App Store? Yeah, I've got an iOS app on the App Store right now. I developed an app last spring semester in a class, and one of the requirements and the reason why my group wanted to build a iOS app over a website, but one of the requirements was that you had to get it deployed. So we had to get it approved and deployed on the App Store. We did it. It was very fun. I worked with 3 other team members. I had iOS experience going into the class, but all of my other team members had never built a full-scale app before. And so it was honestly really fun to work with them. And they were such an amazing group of people. So highly recommend doing it. It's very fun. It was tough, but very rewarding. So to answer that, yes, I have. And I honestly really recommend it if you've got something to contribute that you think would make someone's experience slightly better. Hope hopefully that answers your questions. Yeah. Oh, we've got my yarn in the background from the scarves I'm making. Very fun. Yeah, thank you very much for coming. It was lovely to see y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Like I mentioned, let me drop the GitHub link in the chat for any of y'all who are looking at this. Developing watchOS. I love developing apps on Watch. It's one of my favorite things. I did, I think for Global Hack Week April, I was going to do a Wordle on Watch, but then I ran out of time. So I just ended up doing an iOS equivalent, and that was still really fun. And then, yeah, I interned at Apple Watch, so that was very fun. Highly recommend building some apps and Watch apps. It's an entirely different challenge because the screen is so small and you interact with it so differently that it's very fun to build either way. But yeah, we've got, I think, progress from part 2's up. Yeah, end of part 2's up there. So that's set. Yeah, it's called Studio V. It was for a workout group at my campus. So it's like very school specific, but it was really fun. You can find it on the App Store. I know, it's so satisfying, like especially like when you've got it like on a physical device and you can see everything. Like there's nothing really quite like it. It's part of what I enjoy about it. But yeah. All right. I'll give another minute for people to answer questions if they've got any. Otherwise, it'll be time to head off. I've got a quick errand to run. I'm hoping I can get there before they close at 4 o'clock, which is in 8 minutes, which might be a little bit of a stretch, but I will attempt. I will try. And I'll be the next stream on anyway, so that'll be lovely and fun, and you'll see me in just an hour. So on that note, bye, friends. It was lovely to hang out with y'all. I'm going to give it another minute for questions. Like 40 seconds. Running swiftly indeed. All right. If that is it, thank y'all very much for coming, like I mentioned, and I will see you all in... Bye, everybody.